Muna godiya ga Allah subhanahu wataala da ya nuna wannan rana mai matuƙar muhimmanci ta 17 ga watan 11 na shekara ta 2025 a wannan gari na Zarin Tudu wanda ke kusa da ƙasar Kakumi amma kuma cikin ƙasar Faskari. Da farko dai ina son in miƙa godiya ta musamman ga ainihin shugabanci musamman shugabanci na 'yan uwan Fulani tun daga kan shi Alhaji Adamu Aliru da shi ainihin babban kwamandan mu wanda shi yanzu kwamanda ne na zaman lafiya kuma malami ne malam Isa tare da dukkanin sauran shugabannin Fulani da ke a wannan wurin da ma waɗanda ba su a wannan wurin. Sannan ina miƙa godiya ta musamman ga sauran shugabanni da muke aiki tare da su musamman shi mai girma chairman da sauran makarraban shi na karamar hukumar Bakori kasancewar tun wani lokuta ba kaɗan Allah ya sani mun zo mun shiga mutanen mu sun shiga.
So I mean that would make sense if Akpabiole can help ask the military or the police to arrest that local government chairman as well as the terrorists next to him. There are many videos like that where these terrorists are wearing the military uniform. Now listen to this. This is what makes it ridiculous, by the way. Not that these terrorists are sewing military camouflage for themselves. No. Most of the military uniform you see on these terrorists, they were the uniforms of the killed soldiers in Nigeria. You understand? That every military uniform that you see on terrorists in Nigeria, in order not to make it sound kind of like exaggerating, right? Let's say 99% of them, they are uniforms they took off the soldiers they killed. It is so bad that they will still be wearing the name tag of the soldier, Nigerian soldier that they killed. And again, like I said, what made it so much ridiculous is that these guys will wear these same military uniforms to attend peace meeting where other soldiers, Nigerian soldiers, are there because it's peace meeting. So that's what those senators are saying should end. But for Kolu, he had this to say.
I've been looking at the security situation more carefully. I've seen civilian JTF or what you call it to react to the security challenges. Find so many creative ways you people have been going to protect the neighborhood and communities around you. And that has provoked my thinking about, state police. Again, politics apart. We can discuss with the National Assembly leadership to really, look at critical path to that again, and see how we can eliminate those political alliances out of a state police that will be indigenous to the community and provide the additional safety buffer and effectiveness in the area. We have to look at it collectively together.
They've been looking at it for a very long time. He's not even sure what they are called. Civilian JTF, or what do you people call it? Yeah? The work you're doing and all of that. So we have to, like increase the speed of the video so as to make it easier for you to at least watch. If not, it would have been like that. Call. So yeah, they are talking about the state police now, which means let the people protect themselves. But this is beyond state police. Tinubu created forest guard, remember? Yeah, last year, Tinubu created what he called the forest guards. And their job was to enter the forest and smoke out these terrorists. But guess what the forest guards are mostly doing? Where they have been deployed, though, they are working with Tinubu's Minister of Solid Minerals. And what's his name again? Why do you know? Anyway, so they are working with him, protecting mines where they have interest. In other places where people have been recruited, they have not been trained, they have not been deployed, and the rest of that. So, state police won't go into the forest. I don't think so. Yes, using the local solution, right, to tackle the local problem in this sense, to complement the military or the police, great. But all these things, by the way, they create millions of all these groups. There is still something there that is missing. And that is the political will to actually punish the terrorists. Not just the terrorists, their sponsors. One of the senators mentioned that, said they should look into the banks. Because this is an industry, a multi-billion dollars industry. A lot is going on behind the scenes, sabotaging every effort, up to the judiciary as well. So, which means if you have the political will that you really want to tackle this problem, right? By now, they should have made some mass arrests of some of the suspected terror sponsor in Nigeria. By now, that's what you show. That's how you send signal. Now, if you are not complicit, listen to this. So, if Tinubu and APC, if they are not complicit in all of this, here you get now. Right now, we should have had names of this sponsor that, even if they have this external factor, like everyone wants to, like many people want to believe, especially the conspiracy theorists, America is involved. They are the ones who are funding these people. Okay. A government that is not involved, a government that believes that the country is about to go up in smoke if nothing is done. So you are not part of it. What you have to do is that by now, hundreds of people should have been arrested. There is a 457 names, including some Burundi changes in Nigeria who are working with terrorists and terror sponsors, moving money, converting money. The names, they have the names. 100% northerners. 100% northerners. Funding, sponsoring terrorism in Nigeria. Government of Nigeria have the list. They have the names. So if by now, people want to send a message to everybody that it's no longer business as usual, this nonsense has to stop now. By now, they should have arrested some of them. There were some of them arrested, though. That's how their names got into it. They were arrested. And they used the same corrupt system to let them go. Like Mamu. There's a guy called Mamu, right? He was working with Sheikh Osama bin Gumi, right? In meeting with the terrorists, negotiating with the terrorists. In the process, right? This guy made over 800 million naira in ransom that he collected through him. Now, he's currently standing trial, by the way, but there are hundreds of Mamu who are currently adorning Agbada. Some of them are appearing on your TV, talking about this insecurity, offering solutions, giving ideas, all talks. But behind the scene, they are pulling all the necessary strings to keep these terrorists active. So a government that is not involved at this point, it is no longer about just shooting, mobilizing soldiers. It is about picking the people who are the sponsor, who are hiding safely in Nigeria and outside Nigeria. You will name them, you will pick them up, you will try them. In a short time, you will get them sentenced for the crime. That's how you send messages out. But all this talk about the state police, all this talk about, no. All those ones will now complement your action. You get that now? Because you have to cut the snake from the head. Or your attempt of trying to cut the tail. is what made this whole thing lasted this long. And those who are making money from it, of course. Politicians are aware that their colleagues are involved in illegal mining. They suspect some of their own colleagues that they have their own armed militias across Nigeria. They know themselves. If they can know, then the government knows. So if things have gotten to this stage, there's a way they call it cleaning house. You clean the house. Doesn't mean that you are going to clear all these criminals at once. No, cleaning house means everybody will just kind of like a simmer straight up and say, you know what, we need to study this guy for a while before we continue. Else we may end up in the gallows, and not just in the gallows, we may end up in graves. That's how you do it too. And it is because government have the capacity than you and I. Capacity means logistically and everything, every capacity to tackle this. But is it going to be politically possible? That is where the compromise comes in, where the lack of political wills comes in. And without any political will, all of this, they are just talks, unfortunately. Here is one of them too. This one is the son of El Rufaya, the Kaduna Little Finger, in their lower chamber yesterday.
Announcing plans. It's executing them with clear timelines. This parliament must insist upon those timelines based on the president's recommendations. One thing I would like to add, Mr. Speaker, in addition to the recruitment, is the need for us to increase immediately the basic salaries and the welfares of police officers and soldiers, and we must find the money to do that. At present, Nigeria, put it this way, one police officer manages 600 Nigerians. The UN recommends that ratio should be 1 to 400. We are understaffed. The president has tackled that. That's one point in terms of the short-term solution. And I think, sir, you leadership and committee chairman like Honorable Jimmy Benson should keep an eye on this execution. We can't just make announcements. Let's say by February we're about to see XYZ. That will help. In the medium term, sir, there was a conviction recently of a terrorist, Boko Haram. I believe his name is Husseini Ismail. He was convicted for 20 years by a high court. He was a Boko Haram terrorist. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu was convicted, I think, last week, and his own conviction said life sentence. I don't understand why one terrorist is getting 20 years and the other is getting a life sentence if you're saying that. I think Pastor made a good point. There's this idea that justice is served differently, and it affects the problem. Mr. Speaker, I'll conclude by saying this. I've been an advocate of state police. I've sought the wisdom of more experienced members like Honorable Sada Soli, Honorable Adodogwa, even yourself and the Speaker. I think the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and over again and expecting different results. Somebody said that earlier. We cannot be sitting in Abuja and expecting operations to be efficient in Benue. We have to go back to communal policing. You that are older than us always tell us there was a time when if a just comes to a community, everybody knows him. We have to get the traditional leaders involved and go back to state policing. This parliament, under your leadership, and I know the excellent work you're doing in the Constitutional Review Committee, is looking at that. Sir, no time for election talk now. We have to tell the public a timeline to roll this out. The fear that governors will abuse it always shocks me because they already have all that power. I'll finally end by putting myself in trouble as usual. The North has an issue. My honorable sister mentioned why we've become a breeding ground for such things. This is why. We are not sending our children to school. Of late, you have bandits on TikTok holding monies. The younger people, younger than myself, that have no employment and no skill because we've neglected them. It's a failure on all our parts over the years. Mr. Speaker, these young people go on TikTok and see a criminal holding minted cash. He's suddenly exciting. You want to emulate him. Mr. Speaker, we can do whatever we want to do in terms of FDI, IGR, investments, but we are failing in our primary duty, which is to protect the people we serve. We must increase the welfare of police officers. Recruitment should not be by allocation, sir. Each state should provide the exact amount of numbers. It should be digitized. We should look for young Nigerians that want to join the army to serve, not because it's a job that's seen as something else. I'm sorry if I spoke too friendly, Mr. Speaker. We are relying on you and the members of the Constitutional Review Committee to not only follow up with the President's excellent announcement, but to finally roll out state police in this country. I hope I made my point, and I really appreciate the session today. And once again, sorry I came late. Thank you so much.
30 seconds more. You still have another 30 seconds.
Oh, I thought I didn't have time, Mr. Speaker. Fine, with the 30 seconds, let me... Sir? What? No, sir. I think the reason why I spoke like that, Mr. Speaker, is the passion is enough. You said something that I appreciated, and Honorable Benson said something earlier, and I was at fault. Chagai and I were joking about something.
All right. That's enough. So now the talk for the state police seem to have been gaining more sort of like voices now, I would say. So which means there could be something like that anytime. Nah, there won't be anything like that. Nah, there won't be. But yeah, they are talking about it now anyway. However, we'll see how that kind of like plays out, because they are now talking about recruiting you into the army. Sure, you get recruits more personnel. Tinubu said they should go and recruit 20,000 more soldiers, and the police are also expected to also recruit more in order to defend Nigeria. The police IG also said, but because of Tinubu's directives, right, they have now withdrawn 11,000 something policemen who were providing security for the VIPs in Nigeria. Meanwhile, the VIPs are your politicians, so, as well as maybe your pastors, some of you always like have money to hire few ones to guide you. You won't have them anymore, they said, right?
I have seen some things posted on the social media, misleading. People are quoting figures. I don't know where they got their figures, where they said that 120,000 policemen are attached to private individuals in Nigeria. These are lies. Not true. I don't know where they got their figure from. And that's the figure that's been brandished everywhere. That 120,000 policemen. How many are we in Nigerian police that would attach 120,000 to private individuals? The recent presidential directive that we should withdraw policemen from VIP protection made us to discover that 11,566 policemen are engaged in VIP protection as at today in Nigerian police force. Of course, this is not the first time we are implementing this type of directives. Recently, I gave instruction that policemen should be withdrawn from private individuals, and those private individuals desirous of police protection should reapply, because we saw the need to profile these individuals that are applying for police protection. And we carried out that exercise. During that time, a number of policemen were withdrawn, many of them not reassigned before this presidential order came. So it's something that we have been doing. But the recent presidential order will make the implementation more effective. Now that it is presidential order, there won't be pressure on the IG. In fact, the presidential order is a cover for us to implement this directive that we have been trying to implement all this while. So you can see that the implementation is going to be more effective this time around, because I know that nobody is going to call IG again that, please, these are my people. No governor is going to call me, no minister is going to call me. My friends, my family members will not put any pressure on me because they know it's presidential order. And I'm sure they are not going to put any pressure on any of my commissioners of police because they know that this is presidential order. So the implementation is going to be very effective this time around. And we are going to deploy these men to the areas where we need them. We are returning